Celebration, and I have another exciting author interview coming to you today. I have a beautiful, incredible woman that I know who started out as a student and then fast became a friend. And her name is Sarah Chester. There she is. Hi, darling.
Hi,
It's so great to see you. Thanks for joining me
great to
this
see you
morning.
too.
Awesome. So everybody, I just want to, anyone who's watching right now, I just want you to be introduced to this incredible woman. I first met her in the walls of the Giving Tree Yoga Studio in New York City. And she's been on us with retreats and just classes and workshops and just any adventure. She's so open-hearted and just a diligent student, not only on the mat in the classroom, but also a diligent student of life. And I think that that really is a sort of like a diving board to kind of launch into your story, because your story and the message of your story and why I chose the third chakra with it is that it's all about that will to kind of go into the waters of life and not know what is going to happen, not know what the end, what the final kind of curtain is going to look like, but just going through life and being a student and listening to that co-creative voice. And so many times we get into this trap of using our ego, our will to kind of force things to happen. And your story is so beautiful. I can't wait for everybody to meet you. So can we just first start by you introducing yourself and kind of sharing with us a little bit about your background, Sarah?
Yeah, hi, I'm Margaret. Hi, everybody, and I'm honored to be here today and be part of this. I'm not the best public speaker, so forgive me if I stumble with my words. But anyway, here we go.
You're awesome. I
Um,
know we were talking about
I'm
nerves before. Like, this is so crazy that we're doing these lives, and I'm used to them by now. But I mean, all the authors are like jumping into this pool, and I just applaud you, so everybody can just get to know you a little bit better. So, Sarah, thank you.
yeah. Oh, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, babe.
Well, I'm from England originally, and I grew up in many different places in England. And yeah, I guess my passion was always like horses, and
Mm.
I loved riding, and that was something that followed me through the rest of my life, which was based. That's why I based my story mostly off that. Anyway, and then I came to New York when went to California when I was 24 and lived there for about 6 months. It was an incredible experience. I lived in San Francisco for a little while. I lived in Mendocino for a couple of months with a good friend of mine, Lavina, and she encouraged me to come and run the horse corral there for a while for the summer. It was
Mm.
anyway a pinnacle moment, changed my life. And then I left San Francisco, went back to England, came to New York, and
Wow.
I've been in New York ever since. And so 21 years I've been in New York right now, which definitely shows my age. But
Yeah, girl, if it shows your
can
age, it
count them
shows
here.
mine.
Oh, they say you can know a horse by its teeth, right?
Right.
Counting the lines of its teeth, you can see them on the side of my face. Well, anyway.
No filter today, right? No filters.
No filter, everybody. Yes.
And still gorgeous as ever. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know you've had such an incredible story. I mean, some people never even leave where they're raised, their hometown, and there's a beauty to that too, isn't there? There's a beauty to staying where you're raised and being connected to the roots, and then there's also such beauty in taking risks and going outside your comfort zone, and you've done that.
Yeah, I mean, I do sometimes surprise myself how I even did that. I had a nice job, some good friends, and one day I was just like, I've just got to go. I've got to go, and I was like, I'm going to go to New York. I'd been here on holiday, and initially that was where I was going, and I'm going to go to New York and just see what happens. I just need to change. I need to
Yeah,
change. I had a lot of different things that went on in my childhood, so I also was trying to find an escape from that in a way also. And
sure.
so I got on the plane, and I was like, I told my friends, I'm going, leaving my job, and they were like, wow, okay. But I felt New York was a place that I didn't have to fit in. you could just fit in. And England, I never felt like I fitted in, and I think that's just because of my life, the way it went. I felt like I was always a bit odd. I couldn't quite like feel like I was on the normal path that was expected, societal standard path of like, finish school, get married, and have kids, and that's all beautiful, but I just felt so disconnected with everything, and I felt a bit lost. So I was running around, and I felt like America, especially New York, was amazing for that. It didn't need to have it didn't need to have family, or didn't need to have a certain basis to your life, and you could just be you and make it happen, and didn't feel judged here, I just felt like there was lots of opportunities here, and I could just emerge and be wherever I needed to be, and find something here. Yeah.
That's beautiful. New
Yeah.
York is very much like that, isn't it? It's like, I know, I mean, I moved there in 99 and, moved back to Colorado a couple years ago. And I'm so grateful for my experience there because it's extraordinary. It's not for everybody, for sure, but it's a
No.
place where you really find out, you have the freedom to find out who you are, and you have such diversity to inform you of the many choices that you can create for yourself. And I mean, that's with this theme, with your story that you wrote for the book. And people who are watching you don't know what the book is. It's called Raise the Vibration, a weekly guide for alchemizing the human experience. So it's about extracting the gold from our human experiences. And I have 52 authors who have contributed to this book. I'm still in awe that 52 people in my life agreed to do this because it's an extraordinary expression of experiential wisdom, sharing what we've learned along the way. And it's going to be helping so many people because you're just sharing your stories. And then each week actually has prompted journaling meditations to write about the story, what it means to you, what it invoked within you. It has different vibe hacks, raise the vibration, so your vibration impacts everything. And New York, I mean, your theme. But before I get to New York, your theme each week has a theme, and your theme this for your story, which is the journey that counts, which focuses on being in the present moment and not jumping to the end, skipping to the end, is co-creation. And I know when I moved to New York is very much about giving all of this diversity. I mean, we lived in the most culturally diverse county in the entire world, according to the census, Queens, New York. And this melting pot of people of all different wisdom from all over the place is kind of what I wanted this book to be, too. So I want you to share, Sarah, like, why did you choose the story you did? Because it's a beautiful story about how you had this experience where you realized how much you are in control of and how much you are out of control of while you're leading a group of people, and then just how that impacted your life. So I'm sure you've had so many stories in your life, Sarah, of things you've overcome and lessons that you could share about your own wisdom, because all of us walk a very unique path. So why this story? Why did you choose this one?
Okay. Well, I chose this story because I think that it was a pivotal time in my life. I was 24, and I just left my country for the first time, and I was in America, and I was at the camp. It was at the camp. The story based on the camp in San Francisco, and in Mendocino in California, and I guess I mean, I did write some notes. Let me see. I'm getting nervous now. So let's see. I guess this was important to me, and because I was 24 and I found myself in another place, with with kids from 6 to 16, and they come from, like, a lot of them came from Oakland, from areas that they had never been in and around what we were at in the camp, with animals and in a forest. A lot of them came from gangs, and had some experiences that I'd never had, and vice versa. And we just came together in this one place, which I found was incredible. And we were able to, like, share, and resilience and connections came from this moment where we came together, and shared these things. we, and we embraced our experiences. Basically, we were all from different places, and we were all going through our own traumas. I guess a lot of us
Mhm.
were from those type of backgrounds, and but yet we connected there, and I don't know, it was an amazing time. It was just, I guess, we can't, like, sometimes we can feel lost in our thoughts, and we can feel consumed, even paralyzed. And
Mm.
yeah, the nature and nurture, it shapes us, and we're not given a map to navigate our life, but by being open-minded and embracing each experience, um, learning to control and understand how we react to things is crucial to our well-being, and for others.
Mm.
So I think us all being from different backgrounds at this particular place, we were able to just like bond and share experiences that I know we all took with us, for the rest of our lives. And me especially, I found, you know, they gave me my nickname, Cece. These kids there, they said I was a cool cat, and
I love it.
and I brought that to New York. When I came to New York as a makeup artist, I started to freelance as makeup, and my friends who I met there, I'd introduce myself as CC, because I thought this is a new start, a new place.
Yeah.
And that was for me to sentimental from me, from that camp, that these kids gave me that nickname, and I've used it this day on. It's still, my friends will ever revert back to call me Sarah a lot. They're like, no, you're Cece. And
I love it.
when I do makeup jobs here and there, yeah, they all were like, Cece, yeah, it's Cece, not Sarah. So
Oh,
I'll carry that with me to this day, because that's what my friends call me, Cece, now. And it's
mm,
not, my name is Sarah, but
yeah,
Cece came from that camp, those kids. And so, yeah, I mean,
that's
that'll be with
beautiful.
me
I think that's
forevermore. So that
incredible
was a
that
pivotal time. Yeah.
yeah. Well, sorry to interrupt you. I was just
No.
gonna say that like those experiences of working in service, and you were working in service in that camp to hold the space for not only whenever you're doing service, it's not like some charity. Like we have this idea of charity being like that we are selfless, and we can never be selfless. We can never be selfless. If we're doing something for others, we get that warm fuzzy feeling in our heart when we're doing it. So if we recognize what we're getting out of it, which I think is what you're kind of talking to and speaking to at this moment with what they gave you, not just a nickname, but to be seen in a different way than you were seen before, it's just the greatest gift. And I love this story that you wrote because it's really it's about your own personal evolution, even though you were holding the space for theirs. And when I was in New York, very first couple years in New York, I was in charge of a homeless shelter on the Upper East Side, and everything from ordering the food to staying the night with the 10 men who were there staying, and using it as sort of like this halfway house where they could come and go and shower and get a warm meal. And I had all kinds of volunteers that worked with me, and it was the greatest experience. And some people were like, what are you doing? Like, you're putting yourself in this position with, and it taught me so much about what we really need to be afraid of. Do we need to be protective of ourselves and watch our back? 100%. Anybody who's lived in New York knows how to do that, because my mom gets so concerned sometimes, and my dad are like, okay, well, be careful. I'm like, guys, like, don't worry. And I know parents will always worry, so I'm asking them the absolute impossible. But in these in these circumstances where we put ourselves outside of our comfort zone and outside of how we identify, that's a big word nowadays, right, Sarah? I mean, it's like something that I identify as this, so you have to relate to me like this. And it's done in
Mhm.
a really well intentioned way of trying to be sensitive to other people. But what are we doing within ourselves so that we don't need that external affirmation of who we are? And in putting yourself and immersing yourself in this wild experience with animals and with these very huge, strong, powerful beasts, and with humans who are there to really heal, there's such opportunity for you to grow. And that's what I think is so beautiful about your story is how much we can control, how much we can't control, and also being open to all that we can't control. Because some people would think, oh, yes, with the ego, I'd love to control everything in my life and wave the magic wand and have it be exactly this way. But how many times do we end up with things that are so much better than what we initially wanted?
Yeah.
So with your story and what you wrote, and we don't want to give away too much because I want the readers to read it. It's such an incredible, incredible message. What's the main takeaway that you want your readers to really leave with and be hit with? Because it's wrapped, I matched every story with a chakra, so it's matched with that third chakra. It has that theme of co-creation, and it's just that unknown. But as the author of the story, what message do you want to give the people listening right now and the readers who are going to be taking in the book?
Hmm. Thank you. I think often it's a jungle out there, and we're there and then we're gone, and we need to just take a breath, and I think know that home is where the heart is, and that we are wherever we're meant to be. We are there right now, and
Mm,
and even if that is a feeling of hurt at that moment, or happiness, or in between, that's where we are meant to be in that moment. But that moment, is only a moment, and then the next moment will come, we hope. And so we have to, trying to be in the moment is I think something that I'm always learning and trying to focus on every day. And that there's all the resources that we need are around us, and all the support that we need is around us, wherever that can come from. The least, you know expects, it can come from animals, it can come from nature, it can come from
mm,
sitting just watching a bird in the park. I look at birds now and I think how amazing it is to just, when they're flying and they just don't have any, there's nothing, no material, they don't carry anything with them all day, they just go about their day, flying
mm.
around from one place to the next without any baggage. And I think I always often lately I've been thinking that's what, that's incredible. I want to just feel like that, like you just forget all the material stuff and just see what we've got around us, and that's all we need. We have everything around us. And but I guess, I think, know that we can look for support and in everything and everyone, and don't feel shy to just embrace that. It can help us
Mhm.
physically, and it'll help us mentally, then obviously then physically, when navigating the life. Because we, like I said before, we don't have a map, so it's easy to get lost sometimes, and feel, am I doing this right, am I doing that wrong? But whatever we're doing is an experience that we just embrace and learn from, and just love those experiences, and then we can love each other. And if we can give back, that's the most important. When we're giving, you forget about everything's okay, because
Mhm.
if you're just giving. And that's one thing I do think is amazing, that I realize, just humble ourselves. By, we always know there's someone else worse off, and but not even see it as that, just see it as we're all just want to be, equal and happy and love each other. And by coming together with our experiences, humbling ourselves in those, we can, we can find each other, never feel alone. And yeah.
I
I'm
love I
rambling.
love that metaphor with the birds. Oh my gosh, I watch them all the time here, and it's so true. I was even talking to my mom last night, and it snowed here. It was 90 degrees.
What?
Yes, 2 days ago, and it snowed yesterday. Today there's snow on the
Oh
ground,
no.
and then it's supposed to be 90
What?
degrees in a couple days. It's so wild. And last night she was like, I mean, you guys have tents. Maybe we could set up some tents and like help, because there's all these new goslings, and we're like, oh my god, are the goslings going to be warm
Oh,
enough? And and we forget, like, nature is nature, and like you said, nature nurture. It's like, what do we? How can we trust that we're going to be provided for? How can we trust that even when we're in that unknown, that the next step is going to appear? That's the faith that we can choose to have, or we can live in a state of anxiety and fear. And what inspires me so much about you, Sarah, is that you you throw caution to the wind, you trust your next step, you're unconventional, and you don't do it to prove anything, you just do it to follow your heart and where it's leading you. And that is so beautiful. It's such a beautiful example, and you have such a heart of service. And when people are able to read this story and just listen to you, I hope they can get to know you better through, maybe through social media and other ways, but because so many people feel like they need to lock down their identity. They need to lock down who they are in order to get security or external affirmation of who they are because they don't feel like they know who they are. I say this in a lot of my interviews, know thyself. It's also in the book. It's on the Temple of Apollo in Greece for a reason. It's when people went there to ask the gods, well, what should I do? Like, what do I do? They said, that's the first message, know thyself. And you are a beautiful example of that, who have courageously been creating yourself and listening to that gentle nudge, or sometimes not so gentle nudge, as in your story with with the horses and everything, which is brilliant. But watching nature, taking example from the birds that you don't, everything will be provided for. Have faith, do your work, do your due diligence. But it's just such a beautiful message, and I just admire you so much. And I want to ask one more question, if I could, which is,
Yeah,
I've been
thank you.
asking all of the authors. I gave you guys an impossible task, an almost impossible task of putting such a profound story in less than 1,000 words, and you all did it brilliantly. And what was the writing experience like for you? Because at the end of the book, we've left a few pages for the reader to author their own story, and storytelling is so critical. It's how we've passed on wisdom. It's how we've processed from indigenous times until now. It's why we're obsessed with movies and art and poetry and reality television. So why was writing your story, like, why was it important for you? What did you get out of it? And what can you share with the readers of this book of why you can encourage them to write their own?
Yeah, wow, yeah. It was it's very powerful and humbling again. And it was incredible to sit and like look at your life and start to like have to really look in at the pieces of the puzzle that you're thinking you've been putting together, that really, it's I mean, it was great to reflect. I guess it's good to reflect on life, and to be, it taught me to be grateful for my journey, um and to have had to feel, that I am where exactly I need to be on my journey, and to look at my experiences and know that I can put the good and the bad together, and that I've got, that we all have so many, experiences that we forget about, but realize like they shape us, and we are in control of how we can react to them and respond to them and embrace them, and by embracing all of them, it will um it will shine. It will help us to shine upon others, who in return will shine back upon us, because we need each other's sunlight,
Mm.
and we can give each other that by just sharing, and not being embarrassed, or thinking, that you're not good enough, and questioning, if that you're not in the right place to be around this person, or you don't have the knowledge to be around that person, and or experience. But yet we have it all. It doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, what you've experienced or not. We're just like, we're all like, we all give to each other in like such incredible ways that empowers us all. So we all have something to empower each other, and by empowering each other, we empower the world around us, which makes the world a better place, and just try and take a breath each day, and just be in the moment, and do that every day, even if it's just for a minute or two, and it just gives you a good check on life, And this story, yeah, thinking about my life. And I also recently had to write, because I'm going to grad school
Yeah.
in my mature age, I had to write a personal statement, which came after I wrote this story for you. So I was
Mm.
already prepared. And writing a personal statement for grad school, is
Nice.
about your life. And this story that I wrote for you, I had to find something out of my life. And it's the first time in my whole life, yeah, where I've had to look at all of it and put it together and not feel like I need to just drown in those negative areas or sad
Hmm.
areas, but instead realize like they have been my strengths, and that's what makes me stand today and have and look around myself and see what amazing people I've met like you, and who wants to hear my story. Like, it's incredible. I'm so grateful and honored. And we can all do this for each other. We just listen to each other because we've all got such amazing stories that we all unique, and only we experience what we experience. And when we share those things, we realize we're not so far apart, and yet we are unique, and that we need each other. And
Hmm.
so, but looking at myself and my story, yeah, it gave me a lot of strength and courage to and believe in myself that I've got a lot to give to others, and I want to do that because I know they have so much to give me, and we have to recognize that we've got to always share. We've got to always share with each other everything that we have, and that will, yeah, that will carry us through life, because friends are everything, and nature is everything. We learn a lot through nature because they just
Oh
survive
yeah.
survival, survivors. And it's incredible looking at nature and just sitting and being around the blooming flowers and the birds, and find a connection with an animal you might like, if it be your cat or your dog or something, that
Yeah.
you can, they'll always unconditional love out there. It's out there.
Yes.
And even if you've only
Yes.
got one friend in your life, then love that one friend, but talk to strangers on the streets. We don't do
Yeah.
that anymore. And that's what
Right.
I've learned to do all my life, given and moving to different places, is that you've always got to meet new people. And
Hmm.
if you do that, it's incredible. You grow so much from that. People will give back some people are a lot more hesitant to smile at you in New York. I've
Hmm.
no But yet you smile at them and they'll smile right back most
That's
of the
right.
time. And that's all they're waiting for. People will stare and look negative, and they come at them with a smile, and most times they're like, oh. And that is a beautiful thing, because it's very
Yeah.
hard and mean city here,
Yeah.
but it's also beautiful, and it's strengthening. And that's one thing, yeah, that I love doing is so you help me to just feel that I can share something with others, and because you shared with me some, those kind words, and I'm so grateful, yeah,
Hmm.
about me, and tell me all these positive things about myself. And we don't have often allow ourselves to hear that or think those things. And I
Right.
think we should definitely, always do that for each other, share the goodness toward each other,
That's,
and
I mean, that's what,
love.
yeah, I mean, we met
Yeah,
in
no, go
yoga
on. Yeah,
class, right? We met at my
yeah,
studio in New York, and we say namaste at the end of every class, like, "Nope, namaste," and like, "Mm-mm." What does that mean? That means the divine teacher, or that spark, or that light within every single human, not just the people you like, not just the people you keep close to you, or the people you admire, or the people who don't rock your boat, or the people who agree with you, but as you so beautifully said, it's like it's shining your light, your unique strengths, your unique experiences, while always being the student, always learning more, and seeking to understand more about others, about life, about yourself, but also the people who challenge us the most, seeing God, or that spark, or that whatever name you give that energy in each person, gives us the opportunity to see their essence and what is special about them. And I mean, New York City, we it's such a melting pot that we have such wisdom from so many different walks of life. And there are probably about, I think, about 25, 30 authors from the New York City area, I think, at least, in the book. And so we're gonna have a big release party in the end of June, which will be super fun. But I also love that in writing the story, it's like putting your own puzzle together so that you can understand more and own more of what you've been through, because we're all subject to that voice of I'm not enough, I'm not enough. And that's a self-esteem issue with that third chakra. And we all struggle with identity because we only get who we are from the reflection of the world and our connection to that source, that God, that universal energy, whatever we connect with in that way. And so it's such a unique expression. We have a separate life. We're not in that oneness all the time. We feel the connection to each other, but we all have to walk in our own shoes and walk our lives the way that we walk them. Nobody can do that for us. So thank you for writing a story for this book, Sarah, and just showing up on today, just so our readers can get to know you a little bit more, because you know your light is so bright, and just your kindness, your compassion, your generosity of spirit is so there. And I just so glad for them to be able to connect with you today. And I encourage them to connect with Sarah. You can follow her with, what's the handle? Cece.
CC5 Alive.
Cece for life.
Yes.
Got it. Yes, and you can connect with her through this video, since we've done this together. Any other way that they can connect with you?
Yeah, I think, WhatsApp is great. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, just connect, just send me some love in the air, and just stay in touch, and anything I
Yeah.
can ever share with anyone, and just always try and, yeah, be in touch with each other. We've got to
Beautiful.
always, even if we don't see each other for long time periods, we've got to always remember that, like, yeah, we don't have to always be there all the time, but just knowing that people are
The
out there,
connection's always
they're always
there.
out there, and just connect. Yeah,
Yeah.
connectivity, connectedness is everything. Yeah. And I'm always happy to hear from people
Yeah.
and
That they're not
share everything
alone.
and anything that I
Yeah.
can. No one's alone. Yeah, we're not alone. We're definitely not alone. And
No.
yeah, and
Well, I adore you, my friend. Thank you so much for doing this
thank you so
interview
much.
today. And
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. And thank you to everybody who's been watching this, either live or on replay. The book goes on pre-sale June 1st and will be released at the end of June. So it's so exciting to have this now going to be out in the world and make a difference and really help people with experiential wisdom and ways that they can alchemize their own experience, their own struggles, and also be able to feel support and get the what I wish I knew, that lesson. I wish I knew that when I was going through this. This is what this book is all about, and these beautiful lessons that these 52 contributors are sharing. All right, not to mention it's a coloring book, so it's an adult coloring book. So the beautiful Rachel Gale has done all the illustrations, and so it should be a just incredible interactive book that people can use to raise their vibration. So all right, you all. Thank you so much for joining today. It's so great to see you all. And Sarah, thank you also for joining us.
thank you, and
Uh,
thank you to all my friends. I love you for coming in here today and taking the time. I
yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you, Anne
you're
Margaret.
well loved, Sarah. That's for sure. You're absolutely welcome. All
Oh,
right, and
I'm
until
very
next
grateful.
time.
I'm lucky. I'm so lucky. I love all you guys too.
Well, it's the daily miracles. You see through that lens all the time of your blessings. And that's, even in the book, there's spaces to document your daily miracles and all kinds of interactive tools to truly get that, because life's too short. We don't want to suffer through it. We want to really take the time to appreciate this beautiful gift and make the
Absolutely.
most of it. So,
Yes.
well, thank you,
Yes.
Sarah. Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you.
And until next time we see you, thank you. Keep raising the vibration, everybody. All right. Mwah. Love to you all. Bye bye.